So it's been a while since I've done this on my own, but we'll see what happens. We'll just kind of start and take it from the top. This is how you're going to kind of perform it for your test for the state examiner. All right, so you got your seat belt securely mounted. It extends with a track. It latches and it unlatches, and it's not cut, torn, or frayed. Okay.
The seatbelt?
The seat belt. Yep.
All right.
Down here next to me, I got a 10-pound ABC fire extinguisher. It's fully charged, up to date, with an AG safety pin in place, secured within reach of the driver. And if it's not, it should be in a side box, and the side box must be marked. All right. Back here where you can't see them, there's 3 red reflective triangles in good condition, able to stand on their own. And I got spare fuses for every circuit, unless I have circuit breakers. All right. That covers all of my safety equipment that's right up here in the front. All right. Next, I'm going to do a neutral safety start. I'm going to turn the key on, and I'm going to make sure that the truck's in neutral, that the brakes are set. I'm going to push in the clutch, and I'm going to start the truck. When I start it, I'm going to hold my hand over the key for 5 seconds. I'm going to watch my oil pressure, make sure that it rises, and I'm also going to look for my ABS light to come on and go off. If the oil pressure doesn't rise, then I'm going to immediately shut the truck off to save the engine from damage. And if my ABS light stays on, that tells me that there's a fault somewhere in the ABS system that needs to be taken care of. Watching, there's my oil pressure, it rises, my ABS light just went out, so everything is good. Alright, I'm in neutral, I can get off the clutch. Now I'm just going to kind of go along this way and work my way down and out. Alright, so I've got my mirrors, they're securely mounted, they're clean, they're not cracked or broken, and they are adjusted to me. Adjusted to me means I can see out down both sides of the truck out of the mirrors. Everybody's going to be a little bit different with that, so you'll probably have to adjust them when you get in here and look out at them. Alright, then I got my windshield. My windshield is secure. It's not cracked or broken. It's clean. It has no obstructions and no illegal stickers. Alright, I'm going to go down to my windshield wipers. I got my windshield wiper arms. They're securely mounted. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. And I got my wiper blades. My wiper blades are not cut, torn, or frayed. And they make even contact with the windshield, and my sprayer sprays evenly across the glass. I'm going to work my way down to my gauges. All right, I've got my oil pressure gauge rising to normal. The proper pressure should be between 20 and 60 psi. I've got my coolant temperature. It should be rising to normal between 150 to 210 degrees. My primary and secondary air tanks, they should be at normal pressure between 120 and 125 psi. And then I've got a voltmeter, which should be between 12 and 14 volts. And you find that by clicking this button until it pops up down here. Well, it's not popping up. Somewhere, there it is, 14.1. So we're good there. Alright, now I'm gonna still looking at my gauge cluster here. My left turn signal, right turn signal, high beams, and my 4-ways are all working properly. I got a 20-inch steering wheel. It should have no more than 10 degrees or 2 inches of free play on this 20-inch wheel. I got a city horn. This is 2 little black buttons down here. City horn works. On this truck, the air horn's in the middle. That works. Let's see. I'm gonna move on to my heat. Defroster works. Heat works. Then I've got my pedals down here. All of my pedals are well grooved. They're free of debris and obstructions. The clutch pedal has no more than 1 to 2 inches of free play. Brake pedal is firm to the touch. And all of the pedals come back up towards me, or when you release them, they come back to the upright position. All right. That's pretty much everything up here that you've got to talk about. All right. Then we're gonna move forward to our brake checks. All right. For our brake checks, the truck has to be in first gear. That's important. You always put the truck in gear before you release any of the brakes. All right. Now I'm going to do a little tug test for the brake test. I'm going to push in my red trailer air supply valve, and I'm going to do a little tug against my parking brakes to make sure that they hold the truck in place. Okay. Now, I'm going to check that my trailer brakes are holding it in place. So I'm going to push in the tractor parking brake and pull against the trailer brake. Alright, that was good. Now I'm going to push in both of these valves. That releases all of the brakes in the truck. And I'm going to pull down on this. This is my trailer hand service brake. I'm going to do another little tug. Alright, that was good.
That's strong.
It is strong, yep.
That one's strong.
This is the equivalent of putting your foot on the brake pedal and stomping on it as hard as you can. But instead of doing the truck up here, it just does the trailer.
Okay.
All right, that's all this does is just hold it. It puts full pressure on the trailer brakes.
Okay.
All right, and that's what keeps everything in place. It doesn't let you move.
Oh, that ain't going.
All right. So now I'm going to do my foot service brake test. I'm going to pull forward at 3 to 5 miles per hour. I'm going to hover my hands over the steering wheel. I'm not going to grab it. I'm just going to hold them there. And I'm going to see if the truck moves to the left or the right. All right. If it does, it could be 1 of 5 problems. It could be a brake out of adjustment. It could be a suspension problem. It could be uneven ground. It could be a shifted load. Is that 5 or is that 4? Brakes, suspension, uneven ground, shifted load. There's one other, and I can't think of it.
Tires?
Tires, yeah, low tire pressure. Thank you. Good job. All right, so here we go with that. All right, that was successful. All right, now I pull forward and stop. I'm going to set my brakes again. Okay, I'm going to leave the truck in first gear. I've got my foot on the clutch. Now I'm going to look at my air gauges. I'm going to make sure that I've got enough air in my system to do my air leakage test, which is next. Okay, you need to have these needles above 100 or listen for the air governor to cut off, one of the two, to have enough air to do your air leakage. So now that I've got enough air, I'm leaving this in first gear. I'm going to shut the truck off. And then I'm going to turn the key back to the on position so I can read the gauges. All right, all of the gauges light up. You can see them. So now I'm going to do my static test. All right, static test is I'm going to push in both of the brake valves. All right, I'll have an initial 10 to 15 psi air loss, and after that I should lose no more than 3 psi in 1 minute. I'm going to push these in. You can hear that hissing. That's your initial 10 to 15 psi loss that you're getting right there. Once you get into this, you start counting. 1, 2, 3, until one of us tells you to stop. All right. During the test, the state examiner will get you however far they feel like getting you, and they'll tell you, okay, stop. All right. Next, I'm going to do the applied test. All right. So I'm going to apply firm pressure to my brake pedal, or 85 psi. And there is an applied gauge up here that you could look at. So when you apply pressure, this needle will go over, so you can kind of tell how much pressure you're putting on it. All right. So I'm going to hold it there, and then I should have another 10 to 15 initial psi loss, and then after that I shouldn't lose more than 4 psi in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, time's up. All right. So all of those tests were successful. Now I'm going to move on to my low air pressure warning light and buzzer test. I'm going to pump the brakes or fan the brakes down until I have the emergency light come on. When that emergency light comes on, there normally would also be a buzzer, but in this truck, the buzzer doesn't sound unless the engine is running. So we're not going to worry about the buzzer. We're just going to fan until that red light comes on. Should be at or above 60 psi. And there that is. There's a red stoplight and low system air pressure right here. Okay? So that was successful. Now I'm going to continue to fan my brakes down for my emergency spring brake test. I'm going to continue to fan the brakes down until these valves pop out. You've got the yellow one, which is your tractor parking brake. That should pop out somewhere between 20 and 40 psi. And your red one should pop out somewhere around 45 to 20 psi. The red one will pop out first, and that helps prevent a jackknife. There those go. All right. All of that test was successful. So now I'm ready to do another neutral safety start to go into recovery. So I'm going to push in the clutch. Make sure these did pop out, which they did. Put the truck back in neutral. Stop the truck. There's my low warning buzzer. You can hear it beeping. Okay. Now I'm in recovery mode. So the truck's going to build air pressure now. We're going to build from 0 to 80 psi in the first 3 to 3.5 minutes at normal idle. Then we're going to build air from 85 to 100 psi in about 45 seconds at normal idle. The air governor should cut in somewhere between 90 and 100 psi, and then cut out at 120 to 125 psi. If air pressure continues to build for some reason, the governor doesn't work right, then at 150 psi, there's a safety release valve that will open that will save the system from damage. And that completes the end cap.